And before I show you the next book, I do understand that it might be disappointing that my hauls aren't as big as you're used to them being. I have to put my finances and my family first, but that doesn't mean that I didn't manage to find one of the biggest whales that I've been searching for a long time. And that is... Woof woof! Hey guys, it's me Marcus, aka the Mad Dog, and we're back with another video. Somehow it's already the end of November. It feels like it was literally only a couple of days ago that I was editing and uploading the last month's haul. And if you watched last month's haul until the end, you'll remember that I asked if you'd rather see like a seasonal haul or me keep doing it month to month, because it looks like the next couple of months are going to be a little bit dry when it comes to the books that I'm getting in. It tends to happen in winter, it's everybody's birthday all at once, Christmas is coming up. However, you guys overwhelmingly voted for a monthly haul, so I'm sitting here today and I'm just going to go through everything that I got in November. However, before we can get into my stash, it's time for the Mad Dog Comic Haul competition, which is a unique competition in the sense that there isn't really a prize for winning. But I just love seeing what everybody else has brought throughout the month, and starting it off, we've got Father and Son Comics. And I've got to give them a shout out because they are always the first person to like my Instagram posts. They've just always had so much support for this channel, and they've also got an amazing haul. Now, they did say that this was from their October haul, but there's still quite a lot of books in here, and some of which I still need. So they've got the first omnibus of the Batman by Grant Morrison run. They've got the Batman by Scott Snyder omnibus, which for a little bit of time I thought was going out of print. Joker Killer Smile by Jeff Lemire. They've got the Legion of Superheroes 5 Years Later omnibus, which is something that I'm still trying to get my hands on. The Mr. Miracle Deluxe edition, the Sheriff of Babylon, the Absolute Carnage omnibus, the Trial of Captain America omnibus, which is something that I'm really happy people are getting, because now that they're reprinting the Ed Brubaker run, it might be the case that those later volumes are more hard to come by. They've got the Uncanny Avengers, which has been a while for quite a bit of time. They've got the whammy boy that is the War of Realms omnibus, and they've also got the first of the Walking Dead compendiums. There are some great books there, some great reading, and hopefully you're enjoying them already, and I'm looking forward to what you've got in your November haul. Next up, we've got a haul from Specs Comics Corner, who's a page that's always got very visually appealing pictures, so I definitely recommend checking him out. As you can see, he's also got the whammy boy that's the War of Realms omnibus, he's got the Absolute Carnage omnibus as well, and he's got Thor by Jason Aaron volume 4, the Avengers vs X-Men trade paperback, which was the first event that I ever read in singles, the Doomsday Clock complete collection, which is something I need to check out. He's got some Justice League Dark trade paperbacks, and he's also got some of the volumes of Six Gun. There's a great variety in here, and hopefully you're enjoying some of those books. And the last one that got submitted before I started filming this video was from Dano's Comics himself. He does tons of hauls on his channel, so I definitely recommend checking him out if you haven't done so already. There's no winners or losers in the Mad Dog Comic Haul competition, but you can't deny just how much stuff this dude got this month. He's got the Mike Grell Green Arrow omnibus, which I'm tempted to go to the direct market to buy. Swamp Thing by Nancy Collins, Wonder Woman by Gail Simone. He's got, so he's got both volumes of the Bendis run, the 2 volumes of Absolute Authority, he's got the 2 volumes of Prometheus, so hopefully you can get that 3rd volume next month. He's got 2 books which featured in my top 10 DC Absolute edition, so he's got the Parker Martini edition, which, you know, was a cheat answer from me, and he's also got DC The New Frontier, and he's also got some Superman Deluxe edition, so he's got Secret Origins, which is great, Secret Identity, which I'm trying to get my hands on, and Kryptonite, which is another book that I'm tempted to pick up. That's such a great haul, and hopefully you enjoy reading it, but I just want to say thank you to everybody that submitted pictures this month. If you're wondering how you can join in, make sure you watch till the end of the video and I'll explain it there. So the first thing that I brought this month was something that I needed to jump on after I saw that my friend Highland G had it on his Instagram, and that is none other than the Power Rangers Lightning Collection Lord Draken Evo 3. This was part of the Hasbro PulseCon that they did, you know, because obviously comic conventions aren't happening this year, and I love Power Rangers. I've already done videos talking about it, and I've been reading the comics as they've been coming out, and Lord Draken is just such a great original character in a show and in like a franchise that's already got so many memorable characters. I know I'm probably completely in the minority, but I actually prefer Evo 3 over Evo 1 because of the fact that this just looks more evil. There isn't too much distinction for me between Lord Draken in his original form and Tommy when he's the White Ranger. But I managed to pick this up from Comics and Cocktails. They still had limited supplies, so if it is something that you wanted, I'd recommend jumping on it. But I'm not gonna lie, I do want to get a throne 3D printed just so that the overall image can be complete. But I knew that November was going to be a month where I didn't have too much to spend on books. Because of that, the first book that I picked up was The Boys Volume 3, which rounds out my collection of these trade paperbacks. I didn't get the TV covers because I'm just not a fan of them, and then I had kind of like a panic because I've got volumes 1, 2, 4, 5 and 6, and I was like, no my luck, volume 3 is going to be the one that just goes completely out of print. That panic just made me immediately buy it, and I'm glad that I've now got the complete set because I originally read this when it was first coming out in singles, and then I just completely dropped off it for no reason at all. Now I've got all the volumes, I've got the full run, I can just jump into it whenever I want, and yes, I did see that Omar announced that they might be doing some kind of omnibus omnibus hardcover version of these, and I was like, that's really typical considering I've now bought the last volume. But it's Garth Ennis, who's one of my favourite writers, and I've double dipped for him before in the past, so if I do enjoy this as much as I did when I was reading it in singles, it is something that I'd probably upgrade to anyway. The next book that I brought was similar in the fact that I was worried that it was going to go out of print, and I'd heard rumblings that it had done already, and I'd even said it in an episode of Whale Watch. That was the Incorruptible Omnibus. Now, these are omnibuses that are in soft covers, so they're pretty much a compendium, but Boom Studios has its own way of doing things, and I was really happy that they got the Irredeemable out in this format, and I'd never actually read the Incorruptible. I enjoyed what I read of Irredeemable years ago, and now that they're both just in 2 thick trade paperbacks, I thought I might as well jump on this whilst it's available and I can get it, even if it's not the best price that I want, because now that run's completed and it's all just because of these 2 thick books. So that's another thing that I'm looking forward to doing a review of, and I'd like to do a review of the Irredeemable and the Incorruptible and then do like a comparison and seeing which one wins. Not gonna lie, pretty much everybody told me that it's not this one. And then something weird happened in the UK. We kind of all saw it coming and it wasn't too much of a surprise, but we went into a second lockdown. Now, lockdown is the reason why this channel started to begin with, but it's also the reason why I got into really bad spending habits. But with the gyms being closed, I realised that I needed to get some really heavy books so that I could keep lifting them and hopefully maintain some shape. Because of that, I picked up the Justice League International Omnibus Volume 1, and this is something that I slept on for a while because of like all the stuff that was happening with Volume 2. At one point I heard that we were never going to get one, and then I heard that we were going to get one but it was cancelled, and then finally when I think it was JD DeMatteis, he put on his Twitter that, you know, these are being printed, he's got some complimentary copies, and I was like, you know what, I'm finally going to jump into this. This is something that I heard iFanboy recommending years and years ago, so for me it's always been in the back of my head, but it's not been one of those main Justice League titles that I heard people talking about. So when that Volume 2 finally came into print, I was like, it's time I catch up on this. And this is a very whammy boy, so it's definitely not the easiest book to just throw around like it was with X-Men Grand Design last month, but still, hopefully Volume 2 will make its way across to the UK soon enough, because I'm looking forward to reading this. It seems like good 80s comics. But that didn't seem like enough weight for someone of my puny stature, so I had to go with the whammiest book that I could find. You've heard me call it whammy before, it's appeared in multiple hauls already, and that is the War of the Realms Omnibus. Yeah, I missed out on getting the DM dust jacket, and that was the better version of it, but still I brought this in the hopes that eventually we do get that Thor by Jason Aaron omnibus. It's in a similar way that I brought the DC 1 Million omnibus in time for the JLA by Grant Morrison. So admittedly, yes, this is going to sit on my shelf for a little bit of time, but I got it for about 40% off, which seemed better than most places, so I decided it was better to have it and then eventually have to try and sell it than want it and need it to have that like Thor by Jason Aaron run and never be able to find it. But Jesus, I do think this is the biggest Marvel omnibus that's come out in recent memory. You know, the only ones that I can think that are bigger than this are like the first printings of the Amazing Spider-Man, but hopefully it won't be too long from now that I'm sitting here with a Thor by Jason Aaron omnibus and this one will make more sense and I can just do like a complete read through and I don't really need to wait for anything and I can just get the full story here. And if anybody's wondering, because with these Marvel like event omnibuses that they're doing, they tend to put all of the main like event in the first chunk of the story, so you'll have issues like 1 to 6 of the event and then all the tie-ins will be grouped in the back. I actually prefer that. The first time that I saw that done in a book was with World War Hulk, and I think it actually improved the reading experience. Not every tie-in for an event's going to be great, that's something that we all know, so if you read a few issues of tie-in and you realise it's not going your way, you can just skip it completely. You don't have to have it keep interrupting all the different parts of the story. So honestly for me, I actually like the way that they're mapping these books at the minute. But when we first went into lockdown, I stressed the importance of continuing to support your local comic shops. This pandemic could be the thing that causes them to not open the doors anymore, so I took it upon myself to actively contact a lot of comic shops and seeing if they had any deals on, see if they did some kind of mail order service. And you know what, the majority of the Forbidden Planets in the UK were really helpful. They would send me pictures of the shelves if I asked, or if I was looking for a specific book, they'd look into the database. And in particular, I do have to give a shout out to Forbidden Planet Wolverhampton. They are so friendly, so helpful, and they did manage to pack and ship it to me within a couple of days. So one book that I brought that was part of their mega sale was Avengers Rage of Ultron. This is by Rick Remender, and I heard it follows on quite closely to his Uncanny Avengers run, so it made sense to pick this up for when I eventually do a read through of that. Obviously I still have to get Axis and stuff like that, but you know, I'm just going to do it in bits and pieces. I don't know too much about this, if I'm being honest. I've had a little flick through and the art looks great. It's by Jeremy Opina if I remember correctly. I'm probably not pronouncing his name right, but it is nice to fill in a gap in the collection, and like I said, it was really cheap. The next book that I brought from a comic shop was one that I was interested in when I heard that it was solicited, and then I completely forgot to buy it, and that was JLA The Complete Nail. This is pretty much the story of what would the Justice League be if it wasn't for Superman. On the day when Kal-El's ship crashed onto Earth, Ma and Pa Clark Kent got a flat tire. And you know, there is a lot of people that say Superman's a boring character, you can't really tell a good story with him, but this effectively tells you why you need him to have a good story. I've never read Another Nail, so I don't really know how that factors into it, but The Nail, the original story that I read, I really enjoyed. You've got a really dark take on Batman, and he doesn't really have the same moral code that you used to, but at some point I would like to get quite a good collection of Elseworlds story and just do a complete read through, and I feel like I wouldn't be able to do that if I didn't get JLA The Nail. And before I show you the next book, I do understand that it might be disappointing that my hauls aren't as big as you're used to them being. I have to put my finances and my family first, but that doesn't mean that I didn't manage to find one of the biggest whales that I've been searching for a long time, and that is The Fade Out by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips Deluxe Edition. And if you didn't hate me before, you're gonna hate me now, because at Forbidden Planet Wolverhampton, this was less than £20 as part of their mega sale. So if you don't believe me when I'm saying contact comic shops, see if there's something that you can buy to help them and help them get by through this pandemic, trust me with this story. I've been searching for ages, I haven't seen one of these come cheap on eBay for a long time. And then all of a sudden I was messaging them and I was like, hey, by any chance do you happen to have The Fade Out? And they said, yeah, it's in part of a mega sale for £20. And I went, oh, but have you got the hardcover? And they went, that is the hardcover. This is pretty much cheaper than the trade paperback of it, and now it's like I'm finally filling these gaps in my collection. Yeah, I still need the Fatale, and I know Volume 1's maybe getting a reprint soon, so probably should jump on Volume 2 sooner rather than later. But honestly, I got this cheaper than what I think it would have been at the time when it was actively in print. So please, whatever country you're in, make sure that you contact your comic shops and see if you can help them out in any way, and you might just stumble on a whale that you've been looking for a long time. The next book that I brought was Berserk Deluxe Edition Volume 5. I'm going to try and keep it so that I do buy at least one of these a month so that I can keep on track with what they're releasing. Still haven't found Blade of the Immortal for a good price, but hopefully there's going to be more coming across soon. But yeah, this book has pretty much taken over the comic world this year because so many people have been stumbling onto it as a result of these Dark Horse editions. I'm not afraid to admit I love a good bandwagon, I will jump face first onto it. So I've got Volume 5 now, I'll probably end up getting Volume 6 next month, but what can you really say about this that hasn't been said already? It looks great. When I get to about Volume 8 or so, I might finally start reading it, but with how addicting people say this is, I'm keeping these sealed for my own protection. I then decided to get a few deluxe editions of stuff that I felt if I didn't buy them now, I'd forget about them. The first of which was Batman the Man Who Laughs. Knowing my luck, this does mean that we're probably going to get like a Ed Brubaker Bat Family Universe Omnibus kind of thing, but still, this is a story that I had for years on my shelf as a kid, then I lent it to someone in high school and I never saw it again. But I do remember enjoying reading this. I'm glad that I've got it back in the dog pound and in a format that's better than what I had before. And as well, I remember this being a really quick read, so it might just be the case that one Sunday I'll pull it off the shelf and probably get through it in a day. But that's wishful thinking, you know how long it takes me to finish a book. But still, great writer, great story, and I'm just glad that I finally got it back in my collection. After that was a bit of a blind buy, I got the Justice League of America by Brad Meltzer Deluxe Edition. I don't really hear too many people talking about this run. Obviously he wrote Identity Crisis, which a lot of people are a bit divided on, but admittedly I do kind of want to have a bigger Justice League collection, so with some of the books that I've been picking up, I've been trying to actively steer in that direction, and it'd be a bit stupid of me to sleep on this book considering the fact that it seems like the deluxe editions from DC go out of print quicker than their omnibuses. So it might be that I crack this open someday soon, it might be the case that this is a blind buy that backfires on me, but it's the Justice League and the art looks really good, so I can't really see it going too wrong. Then I decided to surprise my girlfriend with some early birthday presents because it's her birthday next month, which is why I'm a bit poor this month, so blame her. So I got her a few little mangas at first, one of which was Witch Hat Atelier. This is volume 6, it only recently came out, she's been loving these volumes so far. Sounds like it's got a very Harry Potter Lord of the Rings vibe, and it's like I said, she tends to get through these in about one sitting. It seems like the volumes are coming out thick and fast as well, with one coming out next month, so that'll probably end up being in a future haul, but I'm just glad that she seems happy with this, and it seems like she's loving the journey so far. She is also a massive cat lover, so when I saw this, I didn't really know if it was a good story or not, but I decided to blind buy it for her anyway. That is A Man and His Cat Volume 1 and Volume 2. And in case you're wondering from the title, that's the man and that's the cat. This seems like a really sweet story, it's got quite a quirky art style from when I flick through the pages, and it does seem like this might be something that she enjoys. Hopefully she does, because I've already brought her 2 volumes, so she kind of has to read them anyway. The final sort of mini pre-birthday gift that I got her was Saint Young Men Volume 4. This hardcover edition only came out this month, and it seems like these are kind of sleeper solicitations. Like, it seems like you can pre-order Volume 6 already, but Volume 5's not available anywhere. I can't even see the cover for it, so I don't really know what's happening there. But it seems like she's enjoying this so far. It seems like a great comedy manga that's also got this kind of like existential crisis vibe to it. If that sounds like it's your cup of tea, you may want to check this out, because so far she's been enjoying every volume as it goes. Then towards the middle of the month, Speedy Hen had another sale where it was 20% off. I came a little bit late to this party, it seemed like it was the last day by the time I got there, so all the really good stuff was gone, but the one thing that I did pick up, because it was less than half price after the code, was the X-Men Classic Omnibus. I've heard that this is a great companion to the original Uncanny X-Men run, which is something that I'm slowly getting with the Omnibus reprints, so it seems stupid of me to sleep on this if it is going to add extra context to it. And if you look at the cover, who is the one that you see most? It's Colossus, who's my favourite X-Man, so of course I'm going to buy this if it is that it's going to finally give him some love. But hopefully this is a book that will make a lot more sense to me as I'm going through that run from the 70s into the 80s, and I'm just really glad that I've got it in my collection, because I think this might be one that just goes out of print and then people will wish they got it at a time when it was available. Speaking of books that people wish that they got when it was available, I got the Infinity Gauntlet Omnibus reprint. I had the original omnibus of this, but I had it at a time when I was at university and I didn't really have a lot of money, and you know, what am I going to do, work for it? Like, this was a time before OnlyFans, so I had to find a way to like put bread on the table. When I looked at my books, unfortunately Infinity Gauntlet did have to be sold, but I'm really glad that they've reprinted this, because I've got Infinity War since then. I'm probably going to have to get Infinity Crusade just to finish out this collection, and I really like the cosmic side of the Marvel universe. Now I know Nova's not going to feature too heavily in this, but he was one of those characters that I first read when I was starting to get into single issues. So this is a side of the Marvel universe that I've always enjoyed, and it's also kind of classic Marvel stories, so I'm glad that this reprint's come out and I somehow managed to get it despite everything that's going on. And I pretty much got this for about 45% off from Books etc. And for a moment I didn't think it was going to get delivered at all, because they've been having issues for the last 6 months. But I'm not going to look a gift horse in the mouth. This somehow turned up. I'm glad they did, and I'm glad that it's finally returned to the dog pound. Now over the last few months in Europe, there's been 3 massive deals in particular that have just kind of confused us all. They were the She-Hulk Omnibus, the Batman Road to No Man's Land Omnibus, and the Absolute Swamp Thing Volume 2. Now neither of those first 2 actually got dispatched to me, and I'm still waiting for them, but the one that I did get was the Absolute Swamp Thing Volume 2. Yes, I ended up getting this for about £23 in the end because of that weird price error that had happened. It'd been like that for 5 months and we were all really in doubt that any were going to come out. I know some of you are still waiting on them. I'm sorry, I'm not trying to flex on you, but at the end of the day, this is a haul, so I'm going to have to say the books that I got this month. But this was a stupidly good saving. It was way too good to pass up, and I really hope we get a 3rd volume, because I've heard that that will finish out this collection, because this is a seminal run from Alan Moore. It's a character that doesn't really get too much attention in the DC universe, and for such a stupidly good price, how could I turn this down? But getting that delivered brought up another issue. I didn't have the first volume, so fortunately Amazon Spain had it for about 40% off, so I just buckled and I brought it. This is with the new binding. I featured this in my top 10 DC Absolute editions recently. So far it seems that there's no issues. It doesn't seem like it's raising, so hopefully if anybody had any issues with the previous edition that came out, you can get it replaced or something like that. But these, just from a production standpoint alone, are some of those beautiful books in my collection. But yeah, this is me caught up on Absolute Swamp Thing. Fingers crossed for volume 3, because this just looks great in the collection. Coming up to my final 3 books, and you might remember that this was on my pull list earlier this month, I got the JLA by Grant Morrison Omnibus. Honestly, as ugly as this cover is, at least we finally got this. I didn't know if this was going to get cancelled at one point. I am tempted to do a custom dust jacket, but I'm just glad that I've got the complete Grant Morrison JLA. If I'm being honest, from reading the contents right here, it seems like the DC 1 million Omnibus is a bit obsolete now, but I had those 4 deluxe editions and I don't even know why I sold them so many years ago. It's nice that I've had a chance to redeem myself for that mistake, so I wasn't really going to pass up the chance to get this in a complete omnibus. I'm really looking forward to the Tower of Babel Deluxe Edition, but regardless, if this was all we were to get from this, I'm happy that we've got it. And I know I literally just said that I didn't get this next book as part of that offer, but it was because of that pricing error that I forgot that I actually pre-ordered the She-Hulk by Dan Slott Omnibus. I still got this for quite a good price. I think it was about 45% off because I pre-ordered it, so can't really complain too much. Yeah, I probably would have liked one of those really cheap editions, but still, with the way this year's been going, I've just learned to be happy for the books that you do actually get delivered to you, rather than wishing that you had a cheaper price. I really like Dan Slott, and She-Hulk's a character that I've liked when I've seen her in the Avengers, so hopefully this is like a good combination between the two. I have heard mixed things about this run, so it's going to be interesting to sit down with it for myself and see what I think about it. But still, at one point I was going to pick up the complete collections for this series, and the second volume, or it was the first one, I can't remember off the top of my head, that one in particular was stupidly priced. It'd gone out of print to the point where this omnibus at one point I think was cheaper than one of those complete collections. So regardless of if Amazon honours that price that I found on one of the international sites, I am happy that I've got this in the dog pound. But the last book that's going to be featured here very nearly didn't make the cut because it pretty much got delivered a few hours before I'm sitting and filming this. It was a book that I really wanted and I'm glad that it got delivered, and that is the Uncanny X-Men Volume 2. This book is pretty much where this story really kicks off because you've got the Dark Phoenix saga, you've got the Days of the Future Past, you've got stuff with Doctor Doom, and it just seems like some of the greatest Marvel storytelling that there's ever been. I'm really glad that I got this, and I actually prefer this cover, so I'm happy either way, and I got it for about 45 quid because Books Etc just randomly had it one day. I did have a pre-order with Amazon, luckily I managed to cancel that, and hopefully some of you guys can get it as well if it is that you want it. But considering that I knew that I had to tighten my belt this month, I'm really glad that this is one of the ones that I didn't miss out on. But that's all of my haul in November. Now I don't know if December's going to be any better because, like I said, I want to give my family and my girlfriend a really good Christmas. As much as it's great having massive hauls and books in your collection, it's better to have a happy, balanced life. Actually, who am I kidding? I'd sell any of them for a Colossal Conan. But I had been saying for months that the rate at which I was buying books wasn't sustainable throughout the year, and there would be a month where it'd be a bit quieter. And I guess you could call this a small if you spell it incorrectly. But still, that's one of the reasons why I like having the Mad Dog Comic Haul competition. It's because of the fact that you can highlight your collection and it can get featured, you can be proud of what you brought regardless of how many books you've actually got. I don't really feel ashamed that I haven't spent stupid amounts on books because I managed to get my dad this Kiss box set which comes in a guitar case and it hasn't really been out since 2001. I managed to finally get him that because of the fact that I tightened my belt when it came to my books. And that's the thing, every now and then there is going to be some of these months where there isn't too much that's been coming through. I understand that that might be disappointing for you guys and hopefully you still enjoy the video and the books that I have brought this month, but I've said this in multiple earlier videos, you always have to make sure that you're in a good financial situation before you start spending stupid amounts on books. I didn't want to get myself into debt or end up in a worse situation because of the fact that I'm just trying to buy more books to pad out these hauls. I'd rather still be able to have a roof over my head, I'd rather still be able to keep my car on the road, I'd rather still be able to make my family happy. But that's November done, we've only got one more month left of 2020. Obviously that means that coming up we've got one more whale watch and we've got one more pull list, and I'm just hoping that you enjoy all those videos as well. Now if you want to take part in the Mad Dog Comic Haul competition, all you need to do is take a picture of your haul, no matter if you've got 3 books or if you've got 300 books, just make sure that you take a really nice looking picture, share it on Instagram and make sure you tag me directly at Mad Dog Comics, and just please make sure that you use the hashtag MadDogHaul. That's with 2 Ds and 2 Gs because this is the easiest way for me to see them when I'm filming the next video. But it's always great to see what you guys brought, and I feel like it's bringing a sense of community within these videos. But you've got between now and when I film the next haul, and I just hope that a lot of you join in with it. But comment below, what are some of the best books that you got this month, and what in particular are you looking forward to in December? You know, besides the fact that 2020 will be over. As well, something amazing happened on this channel this month. We passed 1,000 subscribers. That is insane to me. I know a lot of people just say it all the time, but honestly, from the bottom of my heart, thank you. I don't know if I've ever said it before, but the reason I started this channel was because I was in this really bad place before. You know, my friend had just died, and then we went into this lockdown, and I didn't really know what to do to kind of keep myself on track. I didn't have a clue how far this could go, and I've just constantly tried to make my videos better and better month on month. But the fact that there's over 1,000 people that have clicked that subscribe button, and it hasn't even been 7 months, and you know, there isn't even 100 videos on this channel. That's insane to me. Like, it just makes me want to continue to do better, and hopefully my videos will just continue to improve. And I know obviously we've got that special live stream to come, and there is going to be a tiny bit of a giveaway in there. I wanted it to be the case that you subscribe because you like the videos, and then there happens to be a giveaway rather than the fact that you're just going to subscribe in the hopes that you might win a book. But obviously when I know what time and stuff works best to do that live stream, I'll let you know a little bit more about that. And obviously I'm going to do a proper thank you in there, but whilst I've got this opportunity to, for everybody that's supported this channel, whether it's been from day one or whether this is the first video that you're watching, honestly, thank you. I now look at my life as maybe going in a bit of a different direction. I feel like I've got more opportunities open to me. I feel a bit more positive about the future. And it's all because of you guys and supporting me. And like I said, I just hope that the videos that I put out continue to improve and continue to entertain you guys. But on the off chance that you've reached this point and you haven't already subscribed, please click that subscribe button. I've got a very erratic schedule. My videos just come out as soon as they can. So make sure you click that bell notification so that you never miss a video. Check out some of my social media links. I'm trying to put as much comic content content on there as I can, and I get involvement from you guys to decide what future videos should be. And if you do want to support the channel, it is greatly appreciated. I don't have a Patreon or anything like that, but all I ask is that you treat yourself to a book, maybe something that you've seen in this video, and that you use one of the Amazon affiliate links down below. It doesn't increase the price, I can't see any of your details, all it means is that eventually there's going to be some money coming in this channel. But that's the video, and hopefully I'll see you at the next one and see some of your mad dog hauls in the meantime. But until then, just make sure that you stay safe, stay reading the best books that you can, and stay mad all you dogs. Woof woof, see you at the next video.